Hey Drumyos, it's John Wooten, and I'm here to talk to you about another Latin groove. Actually, two grooves in one video. Who's old enough to remember that commercial? All right, and those grooves are Beguine and Zouk from Martinique and Guadeloupe in the Lesser Antilles in the Caribbean. Now, Beguine is a child of two different styles of music, one from Africa, one from France. And that is Bele, which was a fertility dance in Africa, and La Polka, which was a Parisian dance. So those two grooves, those two dances got together, had a baby, called it the Beguine. Zouk came out of the Beguine, very similar. They use some of the same rhythms. And that was started by a band called Kassav, Kassav. Check it out. You can look them up on YouTube. The rhythm that those two grooves have in common is called tresillo, and it can be found in almost every culture around the world. In fact, we see it in New Orleans, which is also called the most northern Caribbean city. It's very common, and it's just the three-side of clave. So it's this rhythm. 1, 2, ready, and. Lots of musics have that rhythm. Just off the top of my head, Baião from Brazil, Calypso from Trinidad, Second Line from New Orleans, Funk from James Brown. There's so much music has that rhythm in it. That's called tresillo. Okay, that's tresillo. And if we add a pickup note to two of those notes, we have cinquillo, which is 5, cinco, 5, cinquillo. It goes like this, 2, 3, 4. Okay, both of these grooves, Zouk and Beguine, have this rhythm embedded in the groove. So we're going to start with Zouk. Even though Zouk was born out of the Beguine, it's a little simpler, all right? So there's those two rhythms that I just told you about, the tresillo and the cinquillo, are happening at the same time. All right, so we're going to play the tresillo on the snare drum with a rim knock, and we're going to play the cinquillo on the hi-hat with the right hand. All right, now we want to put the accents in there. So remember, when you accent on the hi-hat, shoulder of the stick on the edge of the cymbal, and then the unaccented notes with the bead of the stick on the bow of the cymbal. Okay? So, and then finally, we're going to have the bass drum playing downbeats. All right, so it's just playing quarter notes as we're doing this. So I'm going to start this off with just the bass drum, and then add the tresillo, and then add the cinquillo. And I suggest you learn it that way, so you get that foundation of quarter notes, and then just add on a little bit at a time. And look, I'm going to play this 4 times each, and then add in the other one. Now, you may need to play it 400 times each, and then add it in. But whatever it is, we're going to break it down, and also you may need to go slower. I'm going to start out at 75 beats per minute. You may need to go slower than that, so always remember that. You may need to break it down more, slow it down more, but for the sake of this video, we got to move on, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we go. This is at 75 beats per minute. First the bass drum, add the snare drum, then add the hi-hat. 1, 2, ready, go. Add the snare drum. Cinquillo. And do that as long as you need to. With any groove, you should play it for an extended period of time till you become very comfortable with it. Another thing you can do is play it like for 4 bar or 3 bars. Sorry, play it for 3 bars and then play a 1 bar fill and get back into it. Let's do that. We'll do that at 75 beats per minute, and I'll do a 1 bar fill, get back into the groove. Okay, because I'm not going to play 1. I'm going to play a crash on 1, and then I got to figure out how to get back into the groove. You should do that with every style of music that you're learning. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah, the Zouk. Okay, now there's a variation that's in here. In fact, in the tune, we're going to start the Zouk on the shell of the floor tom and the snare drum. Just the hands, like this. So it's the same thing. It's very simple. We keep the hi-hat on the downbeats, however. Let me do that. 2, 3, 4. Okay, just like that. All right, on the bridge of the tune, there's a variation of the Zouk, and that's in the second measure. You see in the example. You can play it with the bass drum on the end of 3, but you can also play it on 3 and. So I'm going to do that every other time. So you can pencil that in. Always bring your pencil to a throwdown. Remember that. Pencil that in. Put a bass drum on the downbeat of 3 in that variation, which is the second bar on your PDF. Okay, so I'll play that. I'll play it once with just the bass drum on the end of 3, and then with the bass drum on 3 and. Here we go. One, two, ready, and. That's funky right there, I tell you. So that's the variation. We're going to put that in letter A of the piece after the first 12 bars. And then we go back to the regular Zouk after that. Okay, so that is Zouk. There, you can do variations upon that. Let me just play it for a little while, and I'll show you what I mean. Sometimes I might put 4 on the floor tom, or do some fills, but practice getting in and out of it to play Zouk. So let me do that. I'm going to do it a little faster, and here is just Zouk and some variations. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the Zouk variation. Now, you may also recognize that rhythm from the David Garibaldi video when he's talking about the King Kong beat from a rock group. I don't remember the name of the group. The tune was King Kong, and that's where he heard that rhythm. And so he uses it all the time. It's in his Future Sounds book and does all these variations. Now, this is a little more advanced. We're going to add ghost notes in the snare, and we're going to add a backbeat, which is the American influence to Zouk, adding a backbeat to it. But then you should be able to put your bass drum on any partial. There's 8 partials and 2 counts. We'll do a little drill here where I'm going to do each one 4 times. Now, this is more advanced than just the simple Zouk groove. We've got the backbeats and the ghost notes, and then the bass drum on different partials. You can use this as you wish in funk tunes. It works great. But work on your coordination and your independence, and then you never know when you're going to use it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's a little advanced. Have fun. Use it as you wish. If you can play all 8 partials on the bass drum, then you can play multiple notes. You can play the first 2 or first and third, first and fourth, so forth like that. Experiment with it. Make it funky like a bow-legged monkey, and have fun with your Zouk beat, now with a backbeat. Bonus material. Okay, let's get into the beguine. This is a little more advanced. Now, I thought I knew what a beguine was. You know, I've heard it, and I've started playing it, and then, of course, I have friends that live in the Caribbean, and they saw me playing it, heard me playing it, said, "No, you're not playing it right." I go, "What? I'm playing exactly what I'm hearing. How am I not playing it right?" So I want to give a shout-out to Jean-Philippe Fanfan, who's a great drummer from Martinique. He's played a lot with Andy Norell in his band Sake Show. And this guy, if you really want to check out how to play these Caribbean grooves, he's the one you want to check out, Jean-Philippe Fanfan. All right, so, and anyway, I asked him the question. And, of course, so let me show you the way I used to play it. Here's how I played it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the traditional way of playing beguine. But here we go. Here's what I used to do. 1, 2, 3. Of course, so that's what I thought it was. And then he told me, no, you have to cross your hands. And you're going to play the floor tom with your left hand, snare drum with your right. And after doing it, I can feel the difference. It gives it a little bit more of a different swing, different feel. So if you want to do it that way, I'm going to teach you how to do it the traditional way. But if you want to split the hands up, you can. It's up to you. You know, but just so you know the traditional indigenous ways of doing this, and then I have no problem if you want to change it as long as you know where it came from. Okay, so we're going to start with beguine. Let's start out with just the sticking. If you look at the sticking on the beguine, it's right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Right, and then you see where the accents are. Okay, so the first accent is going to be on the left, and then on the second note of the doubles, of the double rights. This is where you're going to use an upstroke or a molar stroke, if you will. I call it an upstroke or a common sense, or even I like to call it a whap stroke. Whap, whap, okay? Tap, whap. All right, and this comes in real handy when you learn your rudiments. What rudiments has this stroke in there? Or a tap and followed by an accent, huh? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? There's 4 of them. You ready? You ready? Can you name? See how many you can name. There's 1. Okay. 2. Yep. Okay, so you got the inverted flam tap. Inverted flam tap. Flamma Q, right? Has a grace note. And then an accent. Pataflaflas has that same stroke. And flam paradiddle diddles. We have a tap and then a real quick upstroke for the flam. So your rudiments, learning your rudiments can help with grooves like this. Not directly, I'm not playing any of those rudiments right now, but the technique I use to get those rudiments down is the same thing I'm going to be doing here. All right, let's play this just on the snare drum. All right, so 1 surface, play the sticking, play the accents. We're going to play it really slow to get this down, like 1 E and a 2 E and a ready and play and. All right, notice the right hand, I'm also playing rim shots on the accents. Go ahead and hit a rim shot with the right hand. Doesn't have to be real hard. I just want that color. We want the color of the rim shot. Try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, 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 left, right, left, 1 E and a 2 E and. Okay, that's it. Now let's take the left hand. We're going to cross it over. Put the left hand over. We're going to play that on the floor tom. All right? Do the same thing. Here we go. Now, I'm going to play downbeats. I'm going to play downbeats with my bass drum. This is where the polka part comes in. Pa, pa. We can do this with our feet. Let's try it without the feet first. One thing at a time, John. Break it down. You know, break it down. If you broke it down and slowed it down, then you'd be able to throw it down. Somebody told me that once upon a time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and play, and. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, you got that? Work on it. If you had to, pause. Okay, we're back. Worked on it a little while. Get it down. Now, I want you to mute the accent on the left, on the floor tom. Mute it. Just play a dead stroke. Check this out. 1, 2, ready, and play, and. One E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1. Okay? That's it. Now all we got to do is add the feet. And they're just playing eighth notes. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Like you're in the military, but starting on your right instead of your left. Here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, play. You can play some muted, some open. All right, that's it. Now, this one's a little tricky to get in and out of because we've got our hands crossed over. So I need to practice that. So I'm going to pick up the tempo a little bit. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play 3 bars and then a 1-bar fill, in with a crash, and then come back in. But I tell you right away, on that first one, I'm not going to try to get the E of the floor tom, that accent. I'm not going to try to play that. I'm just going to come in 1 E and a 2 E and a with the right hand accents to make it a little easier. But like with every groove, you need to practice transitioning from fill to the groove, from groove to the fill, going back and forth with everyone, okay? This one's just a little more difficult. So let's do that. Here we go. Yeah, so that's it. I even knocked my snares off while I was playing. But practice getting in and out of that groove so you can get those transitions. Because in the tune now, you have to play a fill, and then you get back into the groove, and it has to be smooth. Suave como mantequilla. Smooth as butter. All right, so let's get into the tune. This is Begin the Zouk, even though we're going to start with Zouk and then go into the Beguine. So, Begin the Zouk. Not Begin the Beguine. That's a famous Cole Porter tune. But it's not even a beguine. I guess it is kind of a slow beguine, but it's swung, it's big band. It's really not a beguine. It has some flavors of a beguine. But here we go. This is this tune. Let's talk about it. We start out, again, on the shell. As I said it earlier in the video, we're going to start on the shell here. All right. And then as the bass comes in, and the piano, I'm going to go to the bell of the cymbal and play that here and use the bass drum sparingly on 1 and then on the end of 4 or on 4. You can vary that a little bit, but that's just sparse. And then we have the hits. Bop, 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 bop with the fill, just quarter notes. And I'm just going to play those right here and then play the fill like this. 1, 2, ready, and... And then we're into the Zouk, and that's it. You just play a nice fill that fits real nice, and then right into the Zouk. Okay, so we play the Zouk. Now, this is a 6-bar phrase. Most Zouks you listen to are going to be 12-bar, not 12-bar, 16-bar phrases by 8s, 32 bars perhaps. But this is a little strange. I actually got this tune from my Rudimental Remedies book. It's from the steel band lesson. If you listen to that, that's where this melody and these chord changes come from. It starts out in E flat minor, and then when we go into the Beguine, I move it down to D minor. So you're playing on all the black notes and then all the white notes. 2 great minor keys to play in. But before we get to the Beguine, we have 4 bars of hits with fills. So let's look over that. Let's count that first. This is 4 bars before B. Let's just count it and play it. Play it with our sticks. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and play, and 1, and 2, E, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, E, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, E, 3, and 4, and 1, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? So I would just practice playing that rhythm first. Let's just play the rhythm. 1. Let me move this over a little bit. Okay, 1, 2, ready, and play, and 1. 4 and 1, and 3 and 4 and then we start the Beguine. Then we begin the Beguine. Okay. Now we have the end of 1. That's the first hit. So you want to kick the downbeat of 1. I would kick with my snare drum. I'm going to hit it with my bass drum and probably hi-hat. And then we have a fill. So keep it simple first. I would practice these 4 bars over and over. Okay, so let's take this. Let's take this at 75 beats per minute. I'm just going to play those 4 bars before letter B. Let's do it 2 times. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and play, and. Well, that's hard to do, especially listen to the metronome and playing it slow like that. But you get the gist. So hit those kicks, set them up, and then play your fill. Just make sure it sounds good in time. I need to do that a few more times. And then practice the transition going into the Beguine. So I would suggest playing those 4 bars and then playing 4 bars of the Beguine and then repeating that. Play the hits and then play the Beguine and then repeat that. Let's try it. Here we go. I'm going to take it a little faster. I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. That's the transition. Now we play the beguine, starting at letter B. We play 12 bars, and then you see there's 6 bars and then 6 bars. You can play it straight through as is, but that's just to give you the idea. There is a bridge. It's not really a bridge because it doesn't change keys, but if you notice the melody kind of does something different in those 6 bars, the third 6 bars of letter B. So you can do something different. So that's what I'm going to try and do in the tune, is just maybe improvise a little bit during those 6 bars. And then back to the strict beguine on the last 6 bars. Okay, then we have the solo, drum solo. Drum solo! Okay, so that's letter C, and it's the same rhythm. It's that cinquillo, right? The cinquillo rhythm. Ga, gu, ga, gu, ga. Fill, fill, fill. Drum solo right there. Ga, gu, ga, gu, ga. 3, 4. Keep drum soloing. Something cool. Ba, 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 but not overcomplicated. Ba, 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 ba. Real sweet here. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 da, da. Ba, 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 ba. Fill, bucket of fish. Okay, that's real quick. So let's take that slow. Slow, is that okay? It is? Okay, I thought so. John, slow. You know that. Okay, so let's take letter C. Let's take it here, 75 beats per minute. You may need to take it slower. That's quite all right. It's cool even. Here we go. Letter C. 1, 2, ready, and play, and... That's it. Now, if you need to do that over and over, you can do it at that tempo or slower, and then slowly knock it up little bit by little bit. And there you go. Okay, so that's the Zouk and the beguine. Now we need to apply it to this chart. All right, but make sure you practice all those things before you even attempt the chart. Play those grooves over and over. Work on the transitions from a solo or a fill back into the groove. Fill back into the groove, on these hits back into the groove. Make sure you work on all that first. Otherwise, you're going to get really frustrated, and you're not going to really know it that well. It needs to be taken to the point of application. That's what I want. That's what I want for you, is to get these grooves down so that you can actually apply them. Whether you play a Zouk or a beguine, you may never actually play one of those in your life with a band. But you'll take these elements, I guarantee you're going to find ways to use these elements in other types of tunes. And that's what's cool. Okay, so here we go. This is Beguine the Zouk. It says, the only medicine you need. So that's a famous Zouk tune written by Kassav, the band. So you need to check that one out. It's all in French. But it's the translation is Zouk, the only medicine you need, and it's a really cool tune and happy music. I mean, you can't not smile listening to this music. It's really great stuff. Okay, so here we go. Beguine the Zouk. That's it. Begin the Zouk. All right, begin working on Beguine and begin working on Zouk. So begin the Zouk, begin the Beguine. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of this. And I know it can be a lot, but take it, one bit at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I mean, I don't eat elephants, but if I did, I couldn't eat the whole thing. So same thing here. Little bit at a time, and use it. Use it in other musics as well. So expand your grooves. Expand your knowledge. Okay, that's it. I'm John Wooten, and that is the Zouk and the Beguine. I hope you dug it. I hope you can use it. I hope you love it. See you next groove.